Hello, everyone who are here today. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be our live call. And if you're here, say hi. If you're watching this in recording or later on, comment below and let me know your thoughts and what you think about this topic. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kokev McDonald. I am an occupational therapist and I've been writing several books on primitive reflex integration exercises and reflex integration through play method. It's been a wonderful program that we've been creating and working with several therapists worldwide that we're training and certifying. And currently we're working on a research project as well, making sure that what we are doing is really transferring in the home program as well, and making sure that the kids we service are getting the best result. So if you're interested in a reflex integration through play certification and program, please make sure you find us on our website and make sure that you connect with us. And for those of you who are just watching here today, I want to talk about modality and what a modality is, and reflex integration method as a modality. So first off, we want to talk about what is a modality. So a modality is a tool that a therapist can use. It can be a certain type of um, treatment method, or it can actually be an actual tool that the therapists use to work on their client, depending on the areas that they want to target. So it can be sensory integration method can be a one modality, the brushing protocol can be a one modality, reflex integration method can be one modality. Think of it as a toolbox. So if you're going to fix a house or fix anything, you're going to have a toolbox and you're going to have a lot of tools there. So it can be just one of the tool way of a therapist uses to work with their client. So we want to identify and understand what that is, and to know that as a therapist, as we're working with our clients, we usually have multiple modalities, because we know that there's no one tool that fixes everything. And to think that way actually will affect the results that you can provide for your client, and will affect their development and their growth if we think just one modality can be the answer for all. So far, there's no modality that I know of that does everything. So that's why we use several modalities in order to meet our client's need. So today, I'm just talking to you about the modality that we use, how you can use a reflex integration method as a modality, and how it is used as a modality, not a fix it for everything, but as one of the things you can use. And in my opinion, is really a foundational way of one modality that you can use. And it is really, really effective. Working with clients for so long, I felt like starting from the foundational level will make sure that your client gets everything that they need. It doesn't mean that as you're targeting these reflex patterns that you're only going to be looking at those. You're just using those as modality, and then you can add other things. And if the child needs additional modality, and you add as you go and not just use one thing. Okay, so for today, I'm just talking about different ways that we can use reflex integration as a modality. One of it is to use it during or when we're working on a movement pattern and exercises. For instance, when you're working with 0 to 3 years old, early intervention, as part of the tool that you can use as a reflex integration pattern, this primary movement patterns that we see in these kids, or we don't see in these kids, that we want to be able to implement and add in our intervention. So that can be adding it through their natural progression. That can be during crawling, during rolling, jumping. There are reflexes that facilitate those there are reflex patterns that facilitate those functional needs, and then we can use that as part of the treatments that you're using, you can also add on, and having the ability to be able to screen and test and come up with treatment plan that really addresses those. It will just expedite the result that you want for your clients, including with balance and coordination as well. There are reflex patterns, primary reflex patterns that you can focus on and use to really work on that for balance and standing up, for instance, and being able to balance. There are reflex patterns on the feet that you can look into and see those patterns are available for the child, or is there's active, or we need to work on that. So those are the things that you can add on as well. For sensory stimulation, obviously every reflex pattern have a sensory trigger and a movement physical response. So you can always add those as well. And when you're working on proprioceptive activities as well, again, there's so many reflex patterns, primary reflex patterns, and also postural reflex patterns that you can start to screen and see in the body, and then making sure that you can create a treatment plan that really targets those areas that you're trying to work on, so you can start implementing those. It doesn't mean that you're dropping other things that you're working on. This is just you adding on to making sure that your client is really getting what they need, because now you're coming from foundation level, and these are patterns that are easily observed as well. So it will make it really easier for you to set up these treatment plans. Looking at my notes here, so another ones that you can also use are as well. And let me sure that I didn't forget anything else. Yes, with balance and coordination, I talked about that as well, with postural reflex patterns that you can add in your sessions. And other ones, like there's, we in Reflex Integration Through Play, we talk about play-based approach, and which really will help with cooperation with the children, kids, if you're a pediatric therapist. And of course, this work, you can work with adults all the way, from babies to all the way to adults. But play-based approach is really lets the clients guard down. They're playing, they're interacting, there's more cooperation as well. So that would be very helpful in your session. And then that's the way, actually the best way to teach kids, to bring a lot of play, a lot of obstacle course and movement, right? So we need to do a lot of movements. And again, as part of the tool that we teach is how to observe and screen in this natural environment of movement and play, and not just having them stand in one area and then we're manipulating their body, but as well being able to understand how the body moves and in a play-based activity in a natural setting, and then how to create a treatment plan that really targets those areas. So we can implement it as one of the tools that you're going to use in those areas as well. You can also do relaxation techniques if you're working with adults or kids who have anxiety. That is huge, especially lately. The rate of anxiety is going up. And in order to work on that, to understand the kids, that's one of the modalities you can use, will be using reflex integration protocol, and understanding that how these patterns can also be inside their body and what to do about it. Understanding that can do breathing techniques, as well as working on the reflex patterns that are related to that specific response in the body. So that's one area too. So you can see that if you want to work on fine motor, there are reflex patterns that influences and facilitates fine motor development, gross motor, and you can find it. So our body is almost coded with these primary motor patterns that nature gave us, that for us to understand as a therapist, to be able to understand and observe and screen, and be able to provide a treatment plan that is effective for the child. So you can literally use it in all areas that you probably are working with your client. And think of it as a reflex integration method. Think of it as a modality, as one modality that you can just add to your toolbox and be able to service your clients with a variety of options. And since we use a play-based approach, and our clients will be more interactive with the activities. It will give you like a host of different activities that you can be able to do. So the trick really, from training a lot of therapists, the trick is really understanding the patterns, really understanding how the body moves, and to understand what triggers these reflexes and what the body response looks like, and understanding the child or the client you're working with holistically, not just one pattern, but you have to learn to look at the body as a whole and see how the body moves, because sometimes we're so focused on testing like one reflex and we forget what's happening on the feet. Usually it happens, or like we're looking at one area of the body, forget how the child is breathing, they're holding their breath. And if you're working with kids who are nonverbal, who don't communicate with you, and they'll communicate by some kind of aggressive behavior, running away, you will not understand why that's happening. If you're working with kids or adults who actually can communicate, have speech, and it's easier, because I've worked with kids that I would do working with certain patterns, activities, and they'll tell me like, oh, when I do that pattern, I hold my breath, I have a hard time breathing, so they're communicating with me, so I know I understand, so I stop that activity, I find a different way of addressing that. But if you don't have that, it's going to be difficult. So having a variety of a way of approaching and options for you, it's going to be beneficial, as well as a therapist, learning specifically how to observe your client holistically is going to be key for you. And if you are a therapist, a service provider, a parent coach who are servicing multiple of kids and who wants to perfect or learn your observational skill, your clinical skill, your treatment planning skill, and creating a home program and school program that you can easily monitor and be able to give your clients, and you want to be trained in, and you also value coaching and working as a team, feel free to reach out to our RITP program. And I will, if you're in this group, I'll share the link. Of course, you have the link. If you're watching it in a different platform like YouTube, I will make sure that we have the link below for you, so you can be able to either book a call with us or look at the program, and feel free to join us. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.